Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. In the last episode, I put in this Sandy Shell Ranch down here to finish off the Arbor Tree Farm. So now all of the polluted dirt has a place to go. I also took on one of every bionic duplicate, and all of their required infrastructure is now inside of the housing unit. I've done a little bit of work off camera, just digging out some of the right side of the map here. But I also came across these geysers here in this area. Here's one. Here's another one right here. And then a third one I found back over here. I wanted to save these and do them on camera with you. But alongside that, I need to solve my polluted water problem. Well, it's not so much a problem as an overabundance. Right now, a lot of my polluted water is being sunk into thimble reeds to make reed fiber. But I think there's a better use for this polluted water. Rather than going straight into reed fiber through the thimble reed, I want to go through dreckos. No, dreckos don't take polluted water. No, of course not. It's what they eat that takes polluted water. These guys will eat balm lilies, mealwood, or pinchapeppers. Balm lilies are actually really good because they don't require any fertilization even when domesticated, so you can just feed dreckos for free, but they require a chlorine atmosphere, which means if the drecko is in the part of the farm where the balm lily is growing, then it can't be in the part of the farm where the hydrogen is to regrow their scales. And mealwood, this is really good for glossy dreckos, but it's kind of the same problem. The mealwood has to be in oxygen, polluted oxygen, or carbon dioxide. It can't be in hydrogen, so they still won't have 100% uptime on their scale regrowth. The only thing that works for 100% regrowth is pinchapeppers, because these can survive in hydrogen. So no matter where the drecko is in the ranch, they're always guaranteed to be submerged in hydrogen. And there's a really good feedback loop with pinchapeppers. These take polluted water, have plenty of polluted water, no problem there. They also take phosphorite as fertilizer. But the Drecko produces phosphorite at a much greater rate than the plant actually consumes. So what I want to do in this episode is set up a Drecko ranch and some pinchapepper plants. So I'm going to sketch out a little ranch design here. It will have a hydrogen atmosphere, so in order for the dupes to get in and out without allowing any gas exchange, I'm going to put in some transit tubes. So the whole left side here can just be access points. Then I'll have the door to the farm. I'll need a grooming station and a shearing station, and then a critter drop-off to actually get the dreckos into the ranch. And then the entire ceiling here will be all of the pinchapeppers. And so the total length in here should be 96. I will need some auto sweepers in here to do all of the sweeping and collecting. I want to ship out the reed fiber, the drecko eggs, and any pinchapeppers. I'm not going to be shipping out any of the phosphorite, because those are just going to be recycled back into the plants. And I'll just power everything from its own power transformer. Right up here. And then the water, I'm just going to pump straight in. No insulation needed. Based on the temperature of dreckos and pinchapeppers, the current temperature of my polluted water tank is actually perfect for both of them. If we take a look, the Drecko likes it somewhere between 10 and 60, and the pinchapepper likes it somewhere between 35 and 85. So as long as I keep it between 35 and 60, then they'll both be happy. And the polluted water right now is about 55, so it's right in that sweet spot. That's going to take my builders a while to build, so in the meantime, I want my diggers to come back up to the top here and expose this geyser want to take a peek at this. I also want to see what this is here. And then lastly, I'll figure out how to get my duplicates down to this level. I'll probably just do like a little ramp thing. I could also just dig straight across. Looks like you are a minor volcano, right next to another volcano. That's really convenient. I can just combine these two. Oh, another one. You are a polluted water vent. Okay. Don't really need polluted water at this point. I have oodles and oodles of polluted water, but I'll take the free water. Since I will be getting more ranching going, I think it's a good idea to also take on another duplicate in 1.2 cycles. And fill out that last slot here I have available. Oh, but that is the third buried object. A cool steam vent. Okay. I like that a little bit more. That gives me clean water rather than polluted water. And you know what? I think that actually exposed another geyser down here. Let's dig this one up. And I will get down to you. I don't want to break through this cold biome here and ruin the spigot seals biome. So I'm just going to drop a ladder down right here. And preserve this cold biome. Now this is going to be quite a lot of pinchapeppers. I don't need this many. Just for basic cooking. Like I'll use a little bit for maybe stuffed berries or pepper bread. But right now, I think the best thing I can do with all of those extra peppers is to put them through the plant pulverizer and turn all those excess peppers into brackine. Now, I don't actually have any use for brackine yet, but I will have a use for it later on. So for now, I'm just going to store it up, and this will act as a place to put all of the peppers. Otherwise, the peppers will just rot and turn into polluted dirt. So I'd rather do something with it, because brackine won't expire, but the peppers will. And there is the next duplicate. So let's take on standard duplicate. Let's take on a Quinn. So you will be interested in suit wearing, farming, and ranching. You'll obviously be an animal lover. Have a green thumb, some extra muscles, and some twinkle toes. Let's give you biohazardous and bottomless stomach. And then what brings the whole series together, mouth breather. Alright, welcome to the base. Let's get you moved. Over to here, so you'll immediately equip a suit. Let's change your priorities. I want you to focus on farming and ranching. Now, to replace the atmosphere in here, I'm not going to pump out the oxygen and then pump in the hydrogen. I'm just going to leave a little hole down here at the bottom. I'm going to pump in hydrogen at the top and let it slowly force all of the oxygen down and out. I might need to pump a little bit out at the very end, but the majority of it should be accomplished just through a pressure differential. Getting this hydrogen pipe through this mess won't be easy. It's going to be a lot of bridges here. So I'm going to snip that to redirect all of the hydrogen down into the ranches here. With that, I think I'm ready to start bringing in some dreckos. And start planting some of these pinchapeppers. Now I'll fill it up one farm at a time. I'll start wrangling these guys up. I see you there. Got a couple in here I can go dig towards. Let's get you and you wrangled up. Ah, there's one. And there's another one there. I want to send all of the shipping just over to this line here, because that links back in to the main storage there. Then I'll set these loaders to basically everything except for phosphorite, which I think is under agriculture. Yeah, there it is, phosphorite. What are you? You are a saltwater geyser. Nice. Oh, and that actually exposed another geyser here. So I'm gonna dig over to this one. Take a peek at that. Looks like we're done here, though. So I'm gonna let this saturate with dreckos. That's gonna take a while for them to all populate. I think now I want to turn my attention over to oxygen production. It's working right now, but I don't like all of this extra piping. It would be a lot better if, instead of having to pipe it all the way over to here, the oxygen was just produced here. And you may also notice that the piping here is a little bit different. I did end up changing it between episodes. The other system wasn't a true 4 full pipes of throughput. This one is. So I'm just going to get in a whole bunch of gas pumps here and put in a double spom. This will make routing all the pipes a lot simpler. So these here can come out to the left. This will go up and over. Then I'll use a bridge to get the final one out there. Same thing on this side, up and over, down and under, and then a bridge. This one will come over and plug into this top pipe. This one will come over and then plug into the bottom pipe. This is actually going to flow all the way to the side and then go into this lower section here where all these vents are. And then same on this side. This one will come down into there. This one will go into... Well, technically these would need to do the bottom pipes here. Then this one goes all the way to the side, and will feed everything over here on this side. And everything in this room will be made out of gold amalgam, because then there is no risk of breakage. Now I am going to take some safety measures here. I don't want this problem to happen on the new one. So I'm going to put in a filter. So this will only accept clean water. We'll filter that out and then send it back through. And then anything that is not clean water will just end up in some storage tanks here. Now I'm also going to switch a lot of this piping over to be insulated piping. That way I don't have to rely on this cooling loop here to cool off the oxygen that's just going to be going into atmosuits. It's a pointless waste of cooling there. Dupes don't really care what the temperature of the oxygen is in the suit. Now the dock will heat up if the oxygen going in is really hot, but it exchanges temperature with the surrounding environment so slowly that it's kind of irrelevant. Now, I'm also going to need a place to burn off all of the extra hydrogen for now. Eventually, I'll probably just pipe it up to space. This is where I'll have all of my liquid fuel production. But for now, I just need to burn it off with some generators. I think I'm good to seal this up completely now. I want these top pumps to ever run if pressure is ever above 250. And these bottom ones will run if it's ever above 500. So I guess, yeah, I don't even need this anymore. This can go away. This can go away. What is happening? Bionic duplicant incapacitated. Well, you're in a safe spot. I think someone just needs to deliver a battery to you and you'll be fine. But as I was saying, I don't need any of these generators anymore. I'm actually even gonna run this hydrogen back down to keep filling up the ranches here. Those aren't quite full yet. And that'll actually give this airlock here a chance to seal to just hydrogen without breaking any of these generators. Because it'll just pump out an oxygen-hydrogen combo. And that's the only two gases that are in here anyway. The hydrogen will float up at the top, the oxygen will sink down to the bottom, and it's completely fine. Oh, well that would explain why I don't have any power. Oh dear. Okay, we need to fix power. I think this got stuck in a downward spiral where the aquatuners didn't have enough power to keep the trees cool enough to make enough lumber to keep the generators running. So they kept slowly heating up, and now it's just kind of stuck. I do have over 40 kilos of natural gas down here. I could take advantage of that. I can put in some temporary natural gas generators here, just to avoid any problems in the future. I have a feeling I'm also coming up close against the maximum power output of my base. Even with the NG's tune-up upgrade on all of these generators, I'm still not quite making enough power. Now, the bionic duplicants could actually be in this incapacitated state for a very long time. They just won't have enough power to refill their oxygen tank. So they have up until this reaches 0. Alright, power's back. There's a little bit of charge in these batteries now. I think I'm ready to switch over to the new oxygen system. Let's remove all of this piping here. And I can actually just completely remove this whole thing. I need to reroute the new oxygen. And just like that, I've already got a nice gas lock here. I guess a little bit of hydrogen made its way into the housing unit. That's not great. It'll be fine. It'll eventually just float all up to the top somewhere and I can collect it out later. I will say, this is much neater, and without all that extra piping, I think it also saves a little bit of lag too. Still filling this up with hydrogen. I've got our first Drecko egg. I think it's time I removed this thimbleweed farm, so I don't need to supply it with polluted water anymore. All of this can go. So in a way, I am still kind of turning polluted water into reed fiber. I am just taking a little detour through pinchapeppers and dreckos first. And it's going to take quite a long time for all of these ranches to get saturated, just because I was starting with so few dreckos. So I think I might let this populate between episodes. I mean, the hard part is building the farm. Now it's just a waiting game to let all the dreckos reproduce. In the next episode, I really need to figure out how to get rid of all of this polluted water. I need to find some where to put it, whether that's consuming it or just making a bigger storage box. Now, my clean water is getting a little low. I'm turning it all into crude oil right now. So, turning polluted water into clean water is also an option, now that I have a reliable source of sand with these sandy shells. I'm okay with spending a lot of sand to clean up this water. I could also, now that I've found these volcanoes here, I could try and come up with some kind of purification plant using magma. And that would save me a little bit of sand, and then I'd also get igneous rock out of it, which I could theoretically crush into sand, or feed to hatches. I'm good on food. I've got almost 5 million calories. I'm at 4.5 million right now. I'm already sinking it into arbor trees and pinchapeppers. There isn't really another good plant that takes polluted water. I've also thought about using the gulp fry, or the gulp fish, because these turn polluted water into clean water. And what's really cool is that you can feed these sea combs, and sea combs just take polluted dirt as fertilizer. And so there's this nice feedback loop where gulpfish make polluted dirt. The polluted dirt goes to fertilize the sea comb, and then the sea comb feeds the gulpfish. Now, it's not entirely sustainable. I do need to add some polluted dirt to the system. But polluted dirt is really easy to make by turning polluted water into clean water via sand. So I can have two simultaneous operations going on. I could have sea combs growing in polluted water. I could have the gulpfish eating the sea comb, turning some of the polluted water into clean water. I could have some water sieves going to turn some more polluted water into clean water. Then that would give me the extra polluted dirt I need to keep the gulpfish and sea comb loop going. I don't know how well that would work in practice. Relying on critters for a necessary resource, like water, I don't think is the best idea. But I don't know if relying on sand is any better, because sand, right now, I'm relying on critters to make the sand. So I'm kind of relying on critters no matter which direction I go. That's why I think the magma-based purifier might be a little bit better. So ideally, in the next episode, I could take on 20 or so duplicants. I put in the second housing unit over here on the left, and that would require almost another full pipe of clean water, which would kind of force me to consume all of this polluted water and turn it into clean water one way or another. I also think it's time to get proper industry going, so that would be a thermally isolated area for metal refining, rock crushers, stuff like that. That way I could really get steel going and start getting in my space infrastructure now that I can see the top of the map. I'll keep slowly digging away at some of these other biomes, just excavating and exposing more of the map. I did find, these 3 geysers over here. A cool steam vent, hot polluted oxygen vent, and a saltwater geyser. There's also a couple more that were revealed. This one right here, and this one right here. I can get to those in the next episode. But I really just wanted to focus on the Drecko Ranch in this episode. So I do have a lot of options for the next episode. It just depends on what I feel like doing, I guess, when I start recording. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.